Let's go. Showtime. Okay, we are live. It's me again, and the lovely Vicki Jakes. Vicki Jakes. Woo! I need one of those.
Hello.
I need a little trumpet of some kind. Yeah, so I've done a typo, as you can see, talking the future of Facebook ads in 2023 stroke 2034. So I'm hoping Vicky's got some thought leadership, some future visioning on the Facebook ads here.
for 11 years' time, yeah.
Yeah, so what's going to be happening with Facebook ads in 2034? What do you think will be happening with Facebook ads in 2034, Vicky?
Wow, that's such a deep question straight away. I think AI will take over most of the ad creation by 2034. So
Yes.
you'll rock up to your AI tool and it will say, "Hi, Helen, what do you want to do today?" And you'll say, "I'd like to run ads to my challenge, please." Great, Helen. How much you got to spend? I've got X amount to spend. What are the results? I would like to get 1,000 people into my next challenge. And then you tell it the date you want to end, and then it will come back and do those things for you. And it will create the images, write the copy, and run the campaigns for you. So I don't think I'll be running a Facebook ads agency in 2034 unless I'm in control of lots of robots. Yeah.
Yeah, this is almost a bit dystopian. So for those people who don't know, Vicky and I are both part of Social Ads Squad. However, I am very silent mute partner, really. Apart from occasionally wheeling myself out to talk with Vicky about Facebook ads. So, for those you don't know, Vicky's ran my Facebook ads for a long, long time. We did this last time, didn't we? We spent £250,000 on ads. We've made £2.5 million over the years. And a lot of that is down to ads. So what ads do for my business is they get me in front of new people without me having to spend any time. Now I have to spend money, but I don't spend any time. And it's wonderful because I am scaling my business all the time. So organic took me so far, and it took me very far in a lot of ways. It still do a lot of organic, and I know Vicky always says that's what makes it work even better.
100%.
But ads allowed me to sort of take a break. I was able to take summer off because I knew that when I got back, Vicky would be running ads to the challenge. And yeah, I can show up over the next 2 weeks and get people to come into the challenge, which starts on the 11th of September, in case anyone was wondering. And I can relax knowing that all of these lovely new people will be coming my way, which is amazing. So yeah, Vicky, tell us about Social Ad Squad.
Okay, so I appreciate you and your platform to come and talk about SaaS again, Helen. Thank you. Social Ad Squad is my little agency, isn't it? I've been doing this in online marketing stuff for 20 years almost, doing agencies since about 2008. And I'd always said I didn't want to run an agency. And instead what I did was create my own information product, which is a membership business to help people learn how to build websites. And I grew that business within 2 years, 6-figure, like 150,000 a year turnover using ads. So everyone found out about that, who I knew in my world, just kept asking me, "Can you do it for me?" I was like, "No." "Oh, go on then." And then and then that's how the agency was born. 2 years later, down the line, we work with nearly 30 clients now. There's a team of 5 of us, 6 / if you count my poor developer Naveed. So we work all across the world, fully remote team. We deal with clients all across the world as well. And what we do is we offer low cost Facebook ads management services. So my dream, my vision is to try and get as many people doing what you're doing as possible, but without the kind of cost that they think they might have to outlay, not just for the ad spend, but for the management as well.
Yeah.
And so because of my experience in agency and also just doing productized services, we've managed to create something that's quite low cost, light touch point for the client and for us as well, but it still gets results.
Yeah.
And we mostly work doing lead gen, so building lists, getting people into challenges like with you, onto webinars, creating phone calls, getting people into WhatsApp flows. But we still do about 25%. We still work on e-commerce so that we can keep in touch with what's going on in like
Yeah.
that side of the tech in the world as well. So we're a humble little agency, but we're not like other agencies because I've worked there. I've helped run massive agencies, you know, big turnovers, 5 million turnover a year. I know what I don't want to do. I know what people say when they think about agencies. Oh, they're really expensive. They don't work. I never get heard. It takes 2 weeks to get anything done. And I like to think the social ad squad is kind of like the antithesis of that, essentially. So that's a little bit about us.
Yeah, it's amazing to see. Like, congratulations, by the way, from that very moment. So, Vicki, you weren't a founder member. You were in Catalyst for a long time, weren't you? And I remember that in Catalyst, were you a founder member?
I was a founder member,
You
yeah.
were a founder member, weren't
Yeah,
you?
I'd waited 2 years to join anything that you were doing.
And then you just joined everything, which is great.
Yeah.
And so yeah, as a founder member of Catalyst, which is my small group mastermind, I remember obviously we saw you through such an amazing time with your program, with your website, support thing. And then I remember you saying, I just don't want to, I don't want to run an agency. And then one day you were like, I want to run an agency. And we were like, oh, okay, cool, let's do it. And I really wanted to be a part of that. So it was exciting. I'm also got an agency background. And I know that it can work so well, but you've got to get those values and what you stand for really tight, haven't you? And you got to say no to more things than you say yes to. Otherwise you can get really dragged out of shape, can't you, of like what you're aiming for?
Yeah, I think when people hire people for services, in this case they're hiring us to do ads for them, quite often that burnout from the client side and from the agency or the freelancer side can come because there's no understanding in the expectations. And I think I've just got enough, and I know you know this as well because you've gone through that experience. I've just got enough knowledge now in terms of just doing what I do to know what we can promise and what we can't promise with ads, and kind of price and offer a service that can kind of suit that. So yeah, because otherwise I've worked at we've had this conversation before, but I've worked at big agencies where you just over service, everything goes to shit in the last 10%.
Yeah.
There's always headless chicken running around. I never wanted to work in an agency was like that. Luckily, the one I've created is not like that at all. We have a very lean system. So, I mean, the price is so low. Like we only cost like 500 quid a month plus VAT.
You've really stripped that down for people.
Really strip that down. Yeah, but what
yeah.
people get for that price is one objective to like one campaign, essentially one objective per month. And so they give us the cash, they say go and get us this many leads, off you go, and we go and work towards that result. And I think a lot of people in your world might have hired like Facebook ad specialists or freelancers or whatever, and they are freelancers, they don't work full time on your account, but perhaps the expectation is for the money, which is much more expensive, to kind of hire a freelancer like that they should be doing more. Maybe you don't want to spend as much in terms of your ad spend as well, and you've like had trouble hiring that type of person because they'll only work with you if you're spending like a minimum of like 5 or 10 grand a month or whatever.
Yeah.
But we'll quite happily work with people who have got a media spend of 500 a month as well. So because of the small budget, we're able to say, okay, here's the structure, here's the one objective. We'll report back to you once a week and we'll go out and achieve that result. There's no need to over service because we're both agreed on kind of like what that outcome is, right?
I think that clarity is so important because a lot of people hire a Facebook ads person completely blind, whether they're a freelancer or an agency, because they don't know idea what they're doing. So they don't really know what they're buying. So you really have to sell on the results, because how you do it isn't really relevant. And, I obviously bring clients to you all the time. And this morning I had a message saying, what should my ad budget be for this campaign? And I was like, well, you put £1,000 on. She put 500 last time, I think it was. So put £1,000 on this time because you know it worked last time. No, the first time we'll just do £500 management. We'll do £500. We'll just test it. And if it, let's just take things one step at a time. This time I was like, let's double the ad budget, and then see what happens next, because her product is £3,000. So I was like, well, then you've invested £1,500. As long as you sell one to one person off an ad, you've got a 50% return on investment, and we've got something to work with. So I think it's for people who are perhaps a bit nervous, who do want to invest £1,000 into ads, and they're happy to split that between the management. I think it's a really important end of the market, because once people start to get confident, then you can start to scale up. But I think a lot of people get burnt because they go, right, I'll just put £5,000 on and I'll get charged £2.5 management fee, and I get and see what happens, and they just don't see that return that quickly,
Yeah, and the person you hire has just got to have experience in lead gen in this case, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of ads managers will stop at the clicks. Well, I've got you the clicks, I've got you the visits, the rest is up to you. But we, on our side, we care deeply about what happens after we've sent you the traffic. So we work closely with all of our lead gen clients to find out what the lead's like. Is anyone answering the phone call? Are they unsubscribing from the list? Who's buying? Because then if we can find out what that end of funnel conversion rate is like, we can go back and say, do you know what? This is how much your cost per acquisition is. And that's such a powerful figure to know in your business, because then you know what you need to spend to make a certain amount of money, rather than just kind of like going out blindly posting and just hoping for the next launch will take off.
I think there's a definite gap in the market between I've tried to boost a post myself, and I'm investing heavily into this kind of this big all singing all dancing program, right? I think there's a definite middle ground. But again, with this client, what was really interesting is, instead of when we were because when you're a client of mine, we'll just go through to Vicki, we'll just start a group chat. And I love the way that you're really flexible on comms and stuff like that. You don't make me go to Slack or anywhere where I don't want to be, which is cool. But like this morning when we were like, yeah, let's go for it. And my client was like, yeah, let's do it. And your first question was, what happened last time? Before we just do it, like what happened last time? And what she came back with, which I thought was really interesting, because even though I've helped her with the funnel, I didn't even know this, is every single person that bought, not that clicked and came through, was a woman over 35. And I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Because I was targeting men and women, right? And not necessarily restricting age. And that's the reason why we care about this stuff, because then next time we iterate and we iterate and we iterate. Getting leads for the sake of leads is one thing. Like, anyone can do that. Like, you can go and buy a list, and get junk people, on there. You can run a lead magnet campaign and get people interested. But for us as an agency business, we care deeply about retention of our clients, because that means they're happy, right? And so if they're getting good quality leads, that's everything to me, essentially. So I'm always nosing in on what's going on the other side of the funnel. And I find that quite often, because I work on the sort of strategy side of things, that I'm advising clients on sales funnel technique as well. So it's just, I don't know, like, people who work with us know that they've got a really good thing. And to everyone else, we're just like, they haven't discovered us yet. And when they do, they'll realize we're not just like any other agency.
Yeah, it's true. So tell me about Facebook ads, though. Maybe not to 2024, but what's going to be new for what's working and what's not at the moment, then?
So in the world of lead gen, we've gone back to using the good old fashioned Facebook lead form.
Really?
We don't use it for your campaign because we know it works, and we love our landing pages. Yeah, absolutely. But lead form ads are great because they actually collect the user's data within the ad itself, and then there's no doubt about where that lead has come from then. And they work incredibly well. And with those, we've been finding TikTok style videos still work really well. Weird transitions, things like that. Because if you're on TikTok, you'd be thinking, well, that's trends from like a year ago. But those
Yeah.
trends that were on TikTok a year ago then sort of make it to Instagram about 2 months later, then sort of make it to Facebook about a year later. So we're kind
Yeah.
of constantly always monitoring what those trends are at the sort of
Yeah.
pulse, really, with the Gen Z crew, and then making those recommendations down the line as well. AI is just going to play a really big part in the platform as well. There's so much work that the ads platform does for you now,
Mm.
so trusting that, like, and having the confidence to like have a test budget and just see if it performs better than your manual campaigns is really important as well. I think a few years ago any Facebook ads agency or specialist would have wanted to have shown value by rocking up and tinkering in the accounts every single day, and that
Yeah.
actually ruins the algorithm. It ruins the work that the algorithm's doing. And so we're we're quite forward, I would say, in letting our clients know we need to leave our campaigns alone,
Mm.
and not always be tinkering in them as well. And yeah, I would say like the machine learning in Facebook has just got so much better. The other thing, which we just do now as standard, is always run a real ads for our clients as well. So we create those animations in house based on videos that our clients give us. We also create carousels and kind of images as well, with captions on, sometimes with cool animations as well.
Yeah.
And we weren't offering that as standard, and now that's pretty much standard, because without that type of format, you're just not going to get seen.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I'd say like those four things are definitely something to kind of look out for at the moment.
Mm.
Um, and there was, I'd say, like, you're obviously cutting edge here, Helen, because anyone doing anything in WhatsApp messaging right now is going to benefit, and we're yet to see the power of that in the ads
Yeah.
platform. So those tools are coming. And then I think in the run up to Christmas this year, what we're going to see is a better understanding of the language and knowledge around ads from normal people because of Alex Hormozy.
Right.
He did his webinar last weekend, his 100 million leads book launch. He basically gave the farm away
Mhm. Yeah.
through
Yeah.
his book launch. And one of his big pillars was talking about using Facebook for lead gen, essentially.
Yeah.
So yeah, I imagine there's a lot more people going to be interested in lead gen using ads than there were before after that.
Which is amazing. What a gift. So I was on the investor meeting yesterday with Daniel Priestley, because I'm an angel investor in Score App. And he was like, we had a really unexpected bump, right? And it was because Alex did a huge part of his bit was about lead gen, right? And lead qualification. So suddenly people are actively searching out Score App, which has been great for us as investors. And it's like, cheers, Alex. And the other thing that Alex said was about this really, like, even I would consider quite excessive organic posting of like 250, 300 a week, which is just music to my ears, because I spend all my days, getting called an idiot and a loser for saying we should be posting more. And, I was like, no, you should be posting less. And I just thought, well, thanks for that, Alex, because I think he's done quite a few of us a favor. He's such it truly is like disrupting the industry, but the ripple effect of that is massive, for all of us.
Yeah, and I welcome anyone who's raising the profile of doing better lead generation online,
Yeah.
because not everyone wants to work in the Facebook ads platform. People don't care for it, hate it, have got better things to do with their life, So, I'm more than happy to run ads for people that want to do lead gen that way. And I'm here to support with other services, if people want to learn. I've got my little membership where really small businesses can learn it, and we also offer something at the agency where people can join like a Slack channel and ask
Yeah.
questions whenever they
Yeah.
want, which is really good for like social media managers and ad managers and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm like, all ships are kind of risen with that
Yeah.
approach from him.
For sure. Yeah. And it's kind of like every time I think, like I've just got off a call about opportunities in the UAE, and there's massive opportunities for me over there, and huge, big strategic moves to be done. But at the same time, I see someone posting, in a Facebook group, I need to get a job. Like I'm going to get a job because my business isn't working. I'm like, I can't help but unsolicited advice them. I was like, literally messaged her. I was like, do you want my unsolicited advice? She was like, yeah. So I was like, oh, I think you should do this, this, and this because I just want to help. I just want to help people. Like I just want everyone to sort of like, come on, let's go. And
well,
I think
we're all the luckier for it that you want to do that. So thank you.
well, but it's the same. And I learned a lot from being around you and you having that mindset of like, nothing's too much trouble. Like, it's okay. We can go the extra mile. We don't all have to have these, we've all got boundaries and all the rest of it. But, if you can help. If you've got the time and energy to help. It doesn't always have to be about that exchange. Like you say, your boundaries have blurred a bit with the agency because you're not like, that's it, we've done our job and you're on your own. It's kind of like, well, actually, how can we help you make it all work for everybody?
Yeah, and I'm really aware of who my ICA is here. We work with small business owners, a lot of service based, a lot of owner operators, and they're really nervous and they need stuff explaining to them. And they're not natural operators from a B2B point of view. And if you come along and act like that, you're going to alienate people, not because they don't like you and what you offer, but because they just need to like trust the process, really. And so answering a WhatsApp at 7:00 when my cutoff was 6, of course I'm going to do that, or like just like doing an extra thing, even though it wasn't scoped for. Of course I'm going to do that. I think that comes from the confidence that I have with like managing clients and kind of working with other businesses though. So always in a safe pair of hands with me. And if it doesn't work out, it's typically because people aren't ready for ads, with us at the agency.
So that's a really good point actually. Before we finish, I was like, how do you even know that you're ready for ads? Like what's the sign that you're ready for ads?
Well, going back to our friend Alex Hormozy there, I think you've got to have a good offer first before you then start generating the leads, and you can use ads to test an offer 100%. But if you haven't sold anything before and you haven't validated that people love it, then you shouldn't be running ads to it. You should definitely follow the Helen Tudor approach of posting 500 times a day, right? I'm joking, right? But you really should validate in other areas. I validated my information course membership products for a year before I ran ads. I posted everywhere, I tested, I gave stuff away for free. And I think that's a really, in this race to do stuff really quickly, I think people think ads are a silver bullet and they will solve solve something.
You don't pull the trigger too soon because that's how you can lose money. And I think like you said about validating, I had a client this morning and she's doing stuff for free, and everyone knows I'm like, don't do stuff for free, but for her it's the right thing to do in the right time.
I agree.
Get in front of some clients, do it for free. I just said it to that girl who said, do you want me on social advice? I was like, get out there and go and do 20 calls for free in return for social proof. You will get some clients from that. And is it ideal for me? Not right now. Is it ideal for her? I'm another client this morning. Yeah, and they're in totally different spaces, but it's like, it's all right. You just got to validate the offer, like you say, really powerful. Like I talk about doing the £99 thing, one-to-one, becoming time served, doing hours of one-to-one, 100 hours of one-to-one before you even do a group program to prove your concept. And I think I did a masterclass before I went away, which was all about making millions. And I was like, you've got to look at it in years, not weeks. It's like you're in year one. Year one is your 100%. Organic year. You're going to have to do all your guest experts and all your freebies and get on podcasts, and more people will say no than will say yes to you, and nobody will show up to your lives and all that, and that's fine. Year two is like you're in year two, you can start to, and that's only if you keep the same offer. Once you start chopping and changing your offer, you're back to
and that's the other thing is, many a new entrepreneur will jump from offer to offer because there's a new shiny thing. And I think business is boring, if you've got one thing that you can sell again and again, and you can sell it, and you've got social proof that you can sell it, then ads is the next natural step, because that will just amplify you from the 1,000 people you can reach today to the that you can.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's it's frustrating in a lot of ways because I see a lot of people who are more than ready and still scared, you know.
Yeah.
Which is why I always point people,
well,
safe pair of hands.
Well, I'm a professional hand holder. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine.
The
So
mum
if
energy
anyone
is strong.
wants,
Yeah.
yeah. I should just add, right, that at the agency we do pay as you go. So we act like a SaaS business, right? So it's you pay on a month by month basis. So we don't lock people into long contracts, and that's to help with the changing seasons of how a small business works. So if anyone ever wants to just give us a try, then they can do that and then end it after 30 days, you know. And typically we'll only work with people we know it's going to work with, but you know, there are nervous people out there. So I feel like if people have been wondering, should I be using ads? Where should I be using ads? Like, you should get a groove on. You should get a groove on, because the price is going to go up by Black Friday, Christmas. Now is a really good time to start testing and kind of
and at the moment I think you charge what, $4.97 or something for the management, which is mad.
Yeah.
And then say you put 500 quid on, so you got it's less than £1,000 to invest in working with Vicky Vicky's team for a whole month, testing your offer, running ads, generating leads. Your job is to make over £1,000 out of those leads. That's it. That's all you got to look at it like that. And as long as you liquidated that money, you're good to go again. And I think people again need to look at it like that. Yes, I mean, we had a great launch recently. We spent 15 grand on ads and we made 100 grand, and it was amazing. And then the next one, we upped the ad spend and made less, but we still made a very nice profit. But to me, I was like, oh, we didn't make as much money, but I know that I can put X amount on ads and make Y. Yeah, I know
it's a long game, isn't it?
It's a long game. I'm 6 years in. I know that, right? Which is why we don't mess with my stuff. You might not know that. So you've got to look at it as like, right, I'm going to invest £1,000 next month in finding out that, does it work? Can I make £1,000 out of a fresh new lead in a month? That should be the challenge. Not, can I get an ROI, 10 times ROI, or, all that kind of stuff. It's not about that when you're in this testing phase. So I would say if you're watching this, you want to try ads, obviously use Vicky because she's a safe pair of hands. Hopefully she'll have capacity, but look at it as £1,000, £2,000 maybe trial for a month to just make sure that you can sell your thing to fresh people. It's a big moment in your life when you realize somebody's pressed a button and then you've sold them something that's going to change their lives, right? It's amazing.
100%. Yeah. Thank you, Helen. Really appreciate being able to talk about ads with you. I have to go back to wrangling my children now. They don't care about ads.
September, like I was saying, September is peak times, first day back at school for businesses, and this is time where everyone's going to be on LinkedIn. People are going to be clicking on ads. People want to change their lives in September, so make sure you don't miss it. Thank you very much, Vicky.
Helen, appreciate you.
Bye.